Robby Baker, Blake Niemann. Earlier in our pregame, we were talking, I already forgot, GCU. Moving to the Mountain West, and now we are going to dive into kind of one of the surprise stories, not just in Phoenix, but maybe in the kind of the sports landscape this summer, in the Phoenix Mercury, a team that lost two Hall of Fame type players in Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner in the offseason, and no knock on those players, but losing those two players, and the Mercury actually got better kind of as a team here, and they got better because they also acquired all-star talent like Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabali. Blake, you've been around them a little bit. We both covered them this summer, but you've been to some of the more recent games. Just your initial thoughts on this Mercury team that, as we stand about a little more than a quarter of the way into the WNBA season, they're the second best team in the league, and they're coming off a win over the best team in the league.
Wednesday proved to me that this Mercury team can legitimately contend for a WNBA title.
Say it again, Blake. Say it again.
The Mercury are legit, folks. They are legit championship contenders in the WNBA. They have the second best record in the league right now at 14-6, and they just beat the best team in the league, the Minnesota Lynx, who had only lost 2 games all season coming into this matchup on Wednesday. And they beat them without Satu Sabali, their all-star starter, as well as Kalia Copper, who has been, kind of the third member of the big three with DT and BG, but is now, since coming back from injury, has been an incredibly productive player. So without her and Satu Sabali, Alyssa Thomas, who I think is the most critical piece to everything.
Oh, that's her nickname, the Engine, I think, right?
She's the engine.
She makes it all run.
Because of her assist ability, as well as I think she's the all-time leader in the WNBA in triple doubles. She really does it all. And to go out and have a career high 29 points against the best team in the league when your team needed it most, 12 of those points coming in the fourth quarter when you're down 7 with 5 minutes to go, to pull off a win like that, shorthanded, against the best team in the WNBA, a team that went to Game 5 of the WNBA Finals on the brink of a championship against the New York Liberty last year, who the Mercury have beaten twice this season, once on the road and at home. There's nothing pointing to why this team wouldn't be a WNBA contender. All signs are pointing toward Phoenix bringing home a possible championship for the 4th time in franchise history.
Phoenix and championships just makes my heart nice and feel warm and fuzzy here. It's so interesting, and I don't mean this to turn into an anti-Suns thing, because I don't mean what I'm about to say in that regard. But when you watch the Mercury, even early on this season, even in training camp, I would argue, you could see such a clear vision for this team. And that was even with the news right before the opener that Kalia Copper had to have the arthroscopic knee procedure and stuff, but she was going to miss about a month. But you could see immediately at media day when I sat down with the head coach, Nate Tibbetts, and you hear Nick Uren, the general manager, talk. There was a vision for this team that they were going to, kind of to what Matt Ishbia said he wants the Suns to become, is they were going to play defense. They were going to be gritty in terms of they weren't getting, any team that came to PHX Arena to play the Mercury, they were going to kind of feel it. Like, this was going to be a team that played defense. They got in your face, and they were going to shoot a lot of threes. They were going to let it rip offensively. And the moves they made in free agency and the players they acquired, a lot of the rookies that we can touch on that have been key contributors this season, all the pieces made sense. Everybody they brought in, you said, okay, well, you lost Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi. Oh my goodness, Alyssa Thomas, like she's one of the best players in the league, and what she does skill set wise made sense, fitting what this roster needed, and then kind of complementing Kalia Copper, an Olympian, an all-star guard, and then now you bringing in DeWanna Bonner now at the quarter pole of the season, an all-star player,
Didn't
somebody
even mention that,
who was drafted by the Mercury 5th overall about 12 years ago, and then the biggest kind of the unicorn of this, if you will, her nickname, Satu Sabali. I mean, literally, she's a unicorn. She could do everything on the floor. And so when you have now really 4 big stars that can do everything, that complement each other, and you have these rookies like Lexi Held and I'm thinking playing on the point guard's game. And some of the international players they brought in. It's just you look at this, and to your point, nothing would deter you from saying they couldn't pull off a championship run right at this point because they also are winning these games and pulling this stuff off with basically kind of duct taped together still. It's been very few times that we've seen an entirely 100% healthy team.
Yeah, I mean, and you touch on the three-point aspect and that part of their identity. They've set franchise three-point records. They set one against the Chicago Sky when they hit 17. In the very next game, they hit 18 against the New York Liberty. This team consistently is getting better throughout the season because, again, this is an entirely built from the ground up roster. It was what was supposed to be the rebuild of a new era with DT moving on, arguably the greatest women's basketball player of all time. I don't even know if it's much of an argument.
Oh, she is the greatest.
And then BG, a perennial franchise player, part of that championship team in 2014, moving on to Atlanta. And you think about what the Mercury have been able to get back, this franchise, what has been able to been done by Nick Uren and the front office to put this franchise in a position so quickly to be back where it is expected to be. The Mercury are one of the WNBA's founding franchises, one of the original franchises in the WNBA. They have 3 championships. This is a franchise that gets rallied behind this community. The X Factor
those
brings
fans,
the energy always.
They're the best.
And so there's just a real community and a real passion around the WNBA in Phoenix. And they knew that they had to go and swing for the fences and making moves. They invested. They got one of the best players in the league, Alyssa Thomas, who I believe got runner-up in MVP voting a few years ago. Satu Sabally is one of the rising stars, averaging a career-high 19 right now. And then you piece that together with already what Kalia Copper was doing, being that she was an Olympian. That's nothing to sniff at.
No.
Olympic gold medalist. I believe she was a finals MVP with the Chicago Sky a few years ago.
She was on that team to beat the Mercury. Yeah.
Yeah. So you think about all that. You've got, and then adding DeWanna Bonner, you say she was on those championship Mercury teams. So having a person who's been in Phoenix and won a championship knows what that looks like. That's immensely valuable. And, she's also Alyssa Thomas's fiance. So that's just natural chemistry right there.
There you go. This is actually post-game on Wednesday. This is what Nate Tibbetts, the head coach of the Mercury, had to say about acquiring DeWanna Bonner and what it was like to have her basically choose to come back here to Phoenix after leaving Indiana.
It just adds some more versatility to our team. It's kind of like having Kat out there next to AT. We're going to be able to have Satu and AT out there together, or DB and AT, or Satu and Kat. I think just the versatility. I mean, I just kept saying to the staff and some of our players, I can't believe how big DB is. Like, she's just got size and length. I mean, she went behind and wrapped and tipped that ball out. I mean, and I've just been, you can just feel her professionalism and her approach just in our building, her focus in the timeouts. Like, this stuff matters to her. She's excited to be here, and we're excited to have her.
Yeah, having a player like that choose to come back to Phoenix, and we don't know exactly what happened in Indiana with the Fever, because DeWanna Bonner going to play at least the beginning of the season with Caitlin Clark. That seemed like a big free agent addition to the Fever, and then obviously through the trade, I think it was actually the Alyssa Thomas trade, I believe, was how Sophie Cunningham, who was a fan favorite here in the Valley, she ended up getting traded to Indiana, so it felt like they were really kind of brewing something there. But Caitlin Clark's been hurt a little bit this year. The Fever season has kind of been a little wobbly at the start, and for whatever reason, DeWanna Bonner decided it wasn't working out there, and they parted ways. But it ended up being a coup for the Phoenix Mercury to add a player of her caliber. And to your point, Blake, when you bring in a player like that who has championship experience here in the Valley, she knows what it means to this fan base to win a title. She has experience doing it, and when you have a team that is kind of a split squad, if you will, of high-level veteran players, and then there's kind of a gap, and it's a bunch of rookies.
A lot of rookies are contributing at a high level for the Mercury right now.
And having someone like DeWanna Bonner can help them when it's not always going to be smooth sailing. And not that it has, because they've had to deal with injuries, but when you get to later in the season, when you get to playoffs, when you get to what we hope is a championship-style run, having a player like Dewan Abadar come back can help those rookies kind of bridge that gap of like, okay, this is how you prepare for a game like this. This is what it's going to be like when there's more media attention and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Lexi Held stepped up. There's a lot of rookies that have been able to step up for this Mercury squad. And even so, just some free agent acquisitions. I mean, this roster has just come together so fast in such a short amount of time of being together. And the thing is, I don't know how many games we've actually seen this roster fully healthy this season. It hasn't been a whole lot of games. So just think, they're already the second best team in the league right now with only 6 losses, 14 wins. And that's been through a Kalia Copper injury, a Satu Sabali sideline stint, and Alyssa Thomas
got hurt too earlier in the season.
So all their star big 3 players have each been sidelined at different points in the season. So when the big 3 is all together in one, which we've seen just a handful of times this year, man, I'm just saying, watch out WNBA, because this is an exciting basketball team. And that's what I said in the show when I was doing my wrap for my package for the show is the Mercury might just be the best show in town right now, actively.
Oh, you have no argument for me right now.
I mean, sorry to say, D-back fans, it's looking grim.
It's been tough. It's been
a tough summer. ASU's still 50 days away officially from kickoff.
There you go.
So right now, Mercury, it's the thing to watch.
100%.
It's good basketball. It's high paced. It's high intensity. Lots of high energy. I mean, you got to get to PHX Arena, especially their next games after the All-Star break. It's BG's return on July 23rd.
Yeah.
So it's must see.
That's going to be
right now.
That's going to be big, having Brittany Griner's first game back as an opposing player, not a Mercury.
Definitely will be.
She will get a warm welcome. You imagine
for sure
from the X Factor. But yeah, no, you have no argument for me that the Mercury. I said early on in the season, you guys were joking in the office when I would come back and yell "Mighty Mercury" after covering a game, and I said, no, you guys don't understand. Like this, being around this team, they're even 2 games in, you're like, something's different. There's something different about this team. And to your point, we got like 20 seconds here, but to your point, it's something to be said too that these players so quickly, it clicked and they all bonded together, and it's working. And it's something that we could look to and say, hopefully the Suns can take a page out of this book here, because they got a ton of new pieces. They got a ton of young pieces they're trying to incorporate. So
Nate Tibbetts, possible coach of the year. Just putting it.